Talking with Quinn. Hey guys, and welcome to a brand new video in the series Talking with Quinn. Of course, I am your host, the Quinn, and today I have another exciting interview lined up for you guys. Today's guest is from the United States of America. She is a determined and ambitious entrepreneur, and you would be surprised to know that she is a member of the visually impaired community. So grab your favorite snack and get comfortable as we listen to the story of today's guest. Listen as she takes us through her journey and tells us how she still manages to run a business despite her disability. But before we get into it, please be sure to like the video if you love the content, subscribe if you're new, and to turn on that notification bell to be alerted whenever I post a next video. Also note that the instrumentals for this video have been provided by Inner Sanctum Entertainment Ltd. Now, without further ado, let's welcome today's guest, Sheree Clay. Alright, so today I am here with Sheree Clay, a visually impaired entrepreneur, and a good one at that too. So today we want to find out more about her journey, who she is, how she has achieved what she has, and what she is doing now. So Sheree, go ahead and say hi to our listeners.
Hey, what's up, y'all?
Alright, so first we want to get a bit into your background. We know that you're visually impaired, alright? How did that come about?
Okay, so I feel like it's a super long story, so I'll try to give like the shortest version of it. So initially when I first kind of saw that my vision was like changing, I really thought I just needed glasses. So I kind of had just went to the optometrist just to see if I could get glasses for like night driving, because I had an overnight job at the time. And once I went to see the optometrist, I could kind of hear her outside of the door saying no, she's too young, let me look at her. And so when she came in, she was like, I can't even give you the eye test because I can't see into your eye enough. So she sent me to a specialist. And before I left, I was like, so the specialist that you're sending me to, I was like, so how bad of eyes does he look at? And she was like, oh, he looks at really bad eyes. And I was like, okay, so on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you say my eyes are? And she was like, they're pretty bad. And I was like, okay. So by the time I actually got to go see the specialist, they were basically telling me that my left eye was too far gone to basically try to treat, and that they were going to try to be proactive with my right eye. So what we did was we just started with laser light treatments, some shots, and that kind of helped for a while, and then it stopped working. So I eventually had to have surgery in December 2022. So yeah.
Okay, so where is your vision now as it stands?
So now all I really have is in my left eye, I have just a little bit of light perception. And then in my right eye, it functions at about maybe 75-80%. But the best way I describe my vision is it's cloudy. So yeah.
All right, so that is basically how your journey began. But when that happened, when you found out about that situation with your eyes, what was next for you?
Ooh, what was next? So originally I was still hopeful that maybe they could help me try to repair my left eye. But like I said, when I went to see the specialist, he was just so focused on my right eye. He was like, let's just try to be as proactive as we can be with your right eye. Like I said, initially I was hopeful for my right eye as well. And I continued to still work. I continued to still drive. I continued to still have my daily activities until I no longer could. And then it kind of kept me from doing things that I needed to do. It was kind of we're going to still try to do things. But once I had my surgery in December, because I just only had light perception in the left eye, and then they did surgery on my right eye, it left me in total darkness for 7 months. So yeah, I had nothing, absolutely nothing for his vision.
Okay, so when you were in that situation and you were faced with that challenge, you couldn't drive and you couldn't do all the things that you used to do before. How were you feeling? What were you thinking in that moment?
Um, I was a little bit discouraged. I was very sad. I can tell you, like, I had a lot of days where I cried. I blamed myself, of course, naturally. And I just was, I don't know. It was actually a really hard time. I call it dark days, because they literally were physically dark days and they were emotionally dark days because, like I said, I was a little bit discouraged. And then for me to get help, I literally had to figure everything out by myself. And then to do so, I have a mouthpiece, but I can't necessarily function with my eyes. And that's something that I needed help with. So that was kind of like hard because that was the point where I had to like ask my mom to help me do certain things because there were a lot of things that I hadn't figured out yet. I hadn't adjusted to.
So even though you were discouraged, I'm guessing that there was something that motivated you, that pushed you to use your disability as that stepping stone to get to the next level. What was that motivation?
Absolutely, absolutely. So, like I said, I'm naturally a fighter. And when I say I'm a fighter, I don't mean like physically. I mean like I'm one of them people like I go hard for myself and others. So when I figured out that nobody was gonna help me figure out like what I did was I went to the retina specialist that I was seeing and I asked them, I said, hey, like what do you all have for like do you all help people like live independently? Do you all have like a certain accommodation? I was just basically looking for somebody to refer me to somebody that could help me or put me in the right direction of people who had similar situations. And they didn't. And so me and my mom had a conversation in the car one day and she was like, you really should be like an advocate for like the middle person. Cause now she gets to see how hard it is for me to get like services or get help or figure out which direction to go to. So she was like, you should. Cause at that point I had like started already doing my own research. And yeah, once I figured out where to go and I got certain contacts with people, then I was just like, okay, well, I felt like the specialist should have at least pointed me in the right direction of that, but they didn't. So once I figured out that I had to do it myself, I was like, you know what? I think I want to help other people. And so that's where the idea of the t-shirt company came from.
All right, and I'm glad that you mentioned that. So let's talk more about this t-shirt company because everybody must be wondering. She can't see out of one eye and the next eye is not 100%. What is she talking about a t-shirt company, right? So we want you to expound more on that.
So the t-shirt brand is called Cloud Eye Vision Tees. And again, like I said, that's basically how I describe my vision because I only have sight in one eye. So Cloud Eye. And it is a blind humor inspired t-shirt line. And the concept came because, like I said, I did have a lot of physically and emotionally dark days. But even when I was just in my own thoughts, I kept thinking of things that were funny. And so once I started to get a little bit of my vision back, which, like I said, it took 7 months for me to get that a little bit back, I was like, I want to do something. So me and my mom, we kind of threw out multiple ideas and we just started, first we started to do the t-shirt line. And so that's where we just started to come up with a bunch of funny like sayings, like stuff that I thought about. I kind of like wrote them down so that I could go back to them when I came time to design the shirts.
Okay, so how does it work? The designing of the shirts and all of that.
So it's a pretty simple process, but it can be a little tedious for me and my eyes and my vision. But basically I just use I use multiple apps just to like design the shirts. And of course, like I have to enlarge it super, super, super big in order to design it because it can be kind of, like I said, detailed and tedious to do so. So I use an app to come up with the design, and then I take that design and then I take it to another app and place it on the shirt. Originally, and I still want to do this, I really wanted to actually be the one who put the transfers on the shirts. But just starting off, we just decided just to go with actually sending them to a provider and getting them direct to garment. So right now we just have the shirts. I make the design, I send them to production, and then they get shipped out.
Awesome. So, how can persons get access to these shirts? Is it a global company or do you only cater to persons in the US?
So, anybody can buy them. So if you go to the website cloudyvisiontees.com, you can check it out. We also are in the TikTok shop, but going forward, we will be like in like Etsy and like other ways of getting people can get access to it, not just through like the website, but through other apps.
Okay, so are you on any other social media platforms other than TikTok?
Yeah, so I have an Instagram, I have Facebook. Those are pretty much like the two that I really like use a lot, other than TikTok, because TikTok is my fave. So yeah.
All right, so what's next for you? You have this t-shirt business and you're getting inspiration to do all sorts of designs. You know, lighting up the days of others. But what do you think is the next level for you?
Well, I'm glad you asked that. So, in addition to the t-shirt company, I'm actually in the beginning phases of starting a transportation service for the blind. I'm so excited about that because for a person like myself, like I still can see just good enough to do like certain activities by myself. Fortunately, but there are some things that I still need help with. So for people who are wanting to get around independently, I'm starting a transportation service for them. I want to say it's going to be for the blind and visually impaired. And like I said, the whole concept of that came up because I feel like with other rideshare services, like some rideshare services, you have to ride the stops out with whoever is on that, maybe like a bus or something like that. You have to get on the bus with several different people. And I feel like for us, our space is very sacred because maybe sometimes we can't really tell who's around or, you know what I'm saying, what's going on. So I feel like our space is very sacred. So I really wanted it to be like a one-on-one thing where like our drivers come pick up the customers, they take them to their destination. And I also didn't want it to be like a lot of rideshare services are like medical prioritized. So I really wanted it to be a service where people could just like go do their daily activities. If they wanted to go to get their nails done or go to a restaurant or, you know, go to Target, do anything that they just wanted to do. And it not necessarily be, oh, I can only take you to a doctor's appointment. I just wanted it to be so that we could still get around.
Oh, wow. And you know what I realized too with a lot of these transportation companies, especially when transporting persons who are blind and visually impaired, they just bring you to a place and they just leave you there, you know? They not even say, hey, the door is there in front of you or go a little to your right. They just drop you and they're gone. So are you taking that into consideration as well?
Yes, so we've taken into the legal part of it, the liability part of all of that. I think that it's going to be great that I'm actually behind it because I think that people who are unaware, like you said, like Uber drivers, they're just that, they're unaware. So even if you get into your car and you make it known that you're blind, it's almost like it still doesn't register in their head and they'll just drop you off wherever the destination pops up. So we have taken that into consideration that our drivers will ask the customers, are they comfortable going up there? Is this a location that they've been to before? Are they comfortable or do they need the help of an assistant? And then that's when we'll either take them up to the door or we'll either give them where they need to go. But we're going to be open to either one because we don't want that you want us to take you up there. Cause that, you know what I'm saying? Our drivers are gonna ask the customers like, do you need help going up there? Are you gonna go up there by yourself or do you need directions? But either way, we're gonna be accommodating. And those are gonna be questions that we'll ask in intake for as like when people call.
Okay, all right, that sounds great. And I'm guessing that these drivers will also be trained on how to do sighted guide. Cause we have persons who just want to see you and just grab you anywhere they want to grab and just pull you and say, come here and go here. So I'm guessing that they will be trained on how to properly guide persons who are blind to, walk with them and guide them where they're going.
Absolutely.
Awesome. One more thing though, for this transportation company, in what area are you planning to start out with it?
We're gonna first start it off in Missouri, Illinois, because that is where I'm from. And so we're gonna first start it there. That's gonna be like the pilot test run states. And then we'll probably eventually start to go further out because it is gonna be government contracted. So hopefully it'll go further and it'll go everywhere.
I honestly hope so too. So how are you planning on implementing it so that persons can get in contact with you if they need a driver? Will it be like through a website, an app, or just calling a number?
So we're going to be as accommodating as possible because I realize that there are multiple people everyone functions differently. So we are going to have a website. If you have accessibility to use the website, we're going to be heavy on the call because we realize that, speaking is going to be what's better verbally. So we're going to be accommodating. We're going to have all type of different ways that people can reach out to us to get a ride. We're also going to have an app that you can use if you need us to come pick you up as well. But we're going to, like I said, we're going to be as accommodating as possible. So you'll be able to reach out to us however, either through phone, website, text, call. However, we're going to be accommodating because, like I said, everybody functions differently.
Awesome. Sounds great. So look at that. Despite the challenges, despite the disability, you are advocating for persons in the blind and visual impaired community, and you're making such a difference. Filling the gap where our needs as a community were not being met. So before we close off though, what advice do you have for those who are listening to you right now, who are in the same position that you are in?
I would say don't give up. I would say keep going. I know for some people, they have been blind or visually impaired their whole life. But for people like myself who maybe it's new, just keep going. It's going to be some adapting. It's going to be some different ways that you're going to have to function. But just keep going. Don't give up because the best person to advocate for you is you. So just keep going. Just keep going. Don't give up. That's what I would say.
All right. Awesome. But another thing before we go, just so that persons can keep up to date with you when you do launch this transportation business, as well as all the new stuff happening with your clothing line. I know you told us which platforms we can find you on, but you didn't tell us your names on those platforms. So go ahead and do that.
Okay, so for all platforms, it's going to be Cloud Eye Vision Tees. And so I know I'm saying it's pronounced Cloud Eye Vision Tees, but it's cloudy with an I. CLOUDI instead of EYE.
All right, great. And all of those social media links will be down below in the description so that everyone can have access to them. So the last thing before we go, you know that I have to throw in a bonus question, right? So the question is, what is your favorite movie?
Oh, that's a good question. I have so many, but I'll go with, I can't narrow that down. We'll go with Home Alone.
Okay, everyone loves Home Alone. All right, so that is it for our interview today. Thanks once again for taking time out to speak with us today. And you can tell everyone bye as we end off the interview.
Alrighty, thank you guys. You all have a good one. Bye.